So a few days ago, I put up a why your CPMs are skyrocketing with the release of Andromeda, why your 1 or 2 or even 3 points of positioning, market segmenting, have hit creative fatigue, even though it's not actually creative fatigue that is causing these declines in performance and spikes in acquisition costs. So I put together a thread that will show you how to get the most out of the images I dropped 2 days ago. The images, I'll actually show them here, are first and foremost market segments, 10 of them, so that you are giving Andromeda plenty of creative copy to triangulate, to figure out, okay, here is the person times 100 times 2 times 2 times 2 to keep building your addressable market, your total addressable market, your TAM. So failing to do this as a business owner is essentially choosing to donate money to Meta. I don't care how it was done. I don't care how a media buyer tells you to do it. Media buying as it was is not just in decline, it's unnecessary. It's too cumbersome for what Meta actually needs, which are creative strategists, not media buying strategists. Everything's different right now. The way that you're going to get the basics of what you need: low acquisition costs, high conversions, high ROAS, be able to keep putting more and more ad spend in and getting more results back to help grow your company towards your inevitable exit, generational income. The Rock is trying to follow in the footsteps of George Clooney in his tequila brand. George Clooney had a tequila brand, Casamigos, and he got $1 billion buyout, exit. We're all looking for that exit. But to get there, we have to build something. And this is how you do it now on Andromeda. This is how you do it, quite frankly, on all the platforms, because all the platforms are built for this type of diversity. TikTok for sure. And YouTube is its own beast. But even just in the diversity of what I'm doing on this channel, what I'm creating on this channel has a lot of diversity within the conversation that I'm having with you. So being clear on market segments, on your positioning points, super, super important. Now we get into UX testing. All the different ways of saying the same thing to get the most people to raise their hands, and to keep telling Andromeda who these hands are that we're getting the raise. It's everything to get to this point where you are actually putting it into practical application, the ad. So we have lots of different ways of getting here that's being taught. But what I'm showing you is what Andromeda needs. Okay. So let's go. So here we have and you want to give it the pictures. So attach the pictures, and we're going to get all of them defined, right? Just like this. So, and that's why you can take this funnel, this thread, and use it. I'll show you. I actually gave the exact prompts below, but this whole thread can be used. Now, here it gave me the market segments for this product right here, Nello Super Focus, and I like them. These ones, I like them, but I did reprompt it to these, and I combined a few to get to what I know based on my own research, my investigation, which is your job, business owner, copywriter, your job to be able to get to this so that you are clear on your positioning, on the dog whistle language, on the different archetypes, on the different market segments, verticals. And then I got it here, and you can see there's some misspellings, but this is for your clarity, for your ability to train your AI, ChatGPT, other chatbots on your offers. And then we see the UX testing. Now, I did reprompt this. Yes. So now we get into all of the UX variation of a positioning point, right? So if we have, we'll get more into that in a second. I have more examples of that below. This is the visual layout, right? For all these different positioning points. So primary text, you're not tired, you're depleted. You're not tired, you don't got dopamine. You're not tired, and so you don't actually need coffee. Here's why, right? That's just off the dome when you are seeing all these creative options of what you get to do with them to convert, to train, to keep expanding TAM so that you scale and don't run into that ridiculous notion of creative fatigue when you've tapped into 1% of the market. This is how you get tapped into the bigger market and get actual market share. And that is what every business owner, offer owner wants, and every copywriter wants to help them achieve, because that's where not only today's profitability comes from, but tomorrow's exit. So here, right, are three different positioning points: the entrepreneurial, high performer burnout, and all of the different UX testing. Now, I'm going to put this thread in the description so that you can look at it without me having to break everything down. I think that you can kind of future pace yourself into that. But, energy drinks, those are also symbols, ways to get people to have that automatic association. Energy drinks, feeling depleted, what it really is. Okay, got your attention. So there's rhyme and reason for these to actually work when they're being tested on Meta's Andromeda, when you're putting actual ad spend behind them, or you're a copywriter asking your clients to put ad spend behind your creative. Again, let me repeat, creative is what trains Andromeda. If you want to leverage Facebook's, Meta's advertising platform, these are not the secrets, the principles, the foundation that make getting the right impressions and clicks matter to get that self-identification. Okay, so here are the actual steps. And I did have, so you'll go through them, some reprompting in order to get it right. Again, you can use all of these as a prompt, this whole thread as a prompt, and just having it, make sure that we're clear. Okay, got it. Awesome. Okay. So now we got those charts that you can train your GPT, your account, your thread, whatever you're using. You're going to be able to get this information in there. Sorry for my language there. Not really. I'm kidding. I'm not sorry. Okay, so now we're getting into the heated knee device that has the two red light therapies, the 660, 850 nanometers. One is for oxygen circulation, blood circulation. The other one is actually to help repair the mitochondrial factory so that they're creating energy again. When they create energy, they create collagen and cartilage, the chondrocyte cells, the fibroblast cells. And that is what it helps accelerate repair in the ACL, MCL, the meniscus, and the cartilage slip plate. So here we have the market segment wheel, and it gave me these positioning points and market segments. I believe, yes, I did. I pushed back. I gave it 10. I used 1 or 2, but the positioning points, these are much more specific for verticals based on my market research and having made lots of money in this space with this exact product. So here are those. So that's the circle, the wheel. And then the UX variations, right? And then we get down here. Oh, one of the things that's interesting, sorry for the noise in the background. NASA actually literally accidentally discovered this. So it's a direct response marketing trope, right? Well, NASA accidentally discovered a way to help rehabilitate your ACL, MCL, meniscus, and cartilage slip plate without surgery, right? So that's possible in these positioning points. So I wanted to make sure that foundation was there for the campaign because all of these positioning points are strengthened with this information, possibly, right? And it's a new cause, could be positioned in different ways, but okay. So now we're getting into the actual execution chart 3, the actual UX, the primary, the headline, the image, the text hooks, the first line of the VSL, the visuals of it, all those things are incredibly important and are a part of the hooks, right? If you don't have my hook styles, put in the comments and you can get them, ask for it. Okay, so here we have the full UX ad, right? We got the primary text, the headline, and then we can get tons of variations of just that, right? So if I wanted to say, that's not what I asked for, I pasted that so that you can give me 3 times different variations of that copy for that UX testing in that positioning point. Okay, so we got some copy. Now you can also think about in terms of, because this is all written as advertising, I want to make sure and say, so it's important that these also come from a first person perspective. Please write this exact copy from a first person experience. So very relatable. I used to think recovery, knee recovery was rest, ice, and luck. Then I spent time in pro rehab room and saw what they actually do. They start every session with NASA's dual light therapy, 660 red light for surface repair and 850 for deeper ligament regeneration. The first time I tried it, okay, so you can see, okay, that sounds like it's great from an athlete. Now, let's say I want to change archetypes. So I want to change archetypes from athlete to just a person looking to repair rather than do more damage so they can avoid surgery. Show me that positioning point and 3 different UX variations would look like. So that is from an athlete. I want to hear it from a person who is dealing with wear and tear from daily life. So the same idea, same positioning, different archetype, different story. Let's see 3 times versions of that ad in chart 3 form. Right. So these images really make it easy to start getting a ton of clarity on how you're going to train your Andromeda account, your Andromeda algorithm, and your Meta account. And remember, Andromeda is measuring how you use your account. So when you do this work beforehand, instead of just throwing random stuff to test in your Meta account, you're investing ad spend. When you don't do that, when you don't do this, and you are randomly throwing creative against the wall, spaghetti against the wall, so to speak, then you are gifting Mark Zuckerberg more generational income. And why would you do that? I'll show you this real fast. I did take these images and drop that I created. You'll see in the thread. I won't even show you. They're in the thread, the image I created, and I just throw them in the grok. And you can use these, put some text over that. And you could use them in ads. You can create and it gets attention. Yeah, it does create a little uncanny valley effect, but it does work, and that's just 1 minute of me doing it. I'm sure you can get a lot better. Okay, questions, comments, you know where to put them. Please like and subscribe. New channel, and I'll see you in the next.